Great. There's the voice of God. I'm going to go off screen and you can start and I'll ping you when you've got last question.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. How are y'all doing today?
Great. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's our third. We have an 8-year-old son and almost 2-year-old daughter, and this is another girl. So it's
very
very
as well. It's a lot of work.
That's what I've heard, but I guess they're still going back now, right?
No, there's no refund on this one.
I had a coworker the other day ask me if it was too late to send my kids back. He doesn't have any kids.
No.
And I was like, yeah, it's a little too late for that. Sorry.
It's not a mail order, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, no. Well, I really appreciate you guys taking the time. I know it's pretty late over where you guys are right now, so I appreciate you guys chatting with me for just a few minutes. I just wanted to hear if each of you could just give me a little brief history on your backgrounds and maybe what drew you to Smurfs.
Okay, well, I'll start there, Mark. Well, first of all, I'm a longtime fan. I grew up with the series in the 80s, way back. And so when I came to work for the company, that was more than 16 years ago already. So there's a long history there as well. And working on this show has started for me back in 2016 when we said within the company, okay, we had these 3 Sony movies. It's time to do a new series. And then we started to brainstorm on how we were going to do this, and we decided to keep it in Belgium and not license it out. And that's when the whole adventure started for me to become a producer and making the show.
As for me, I'm an actor, so that's what I do. And I direct actors as well, and that's what I do also. And then my phone rang one day and someone said, hey, would you like to work on the Smurfs? And I said, the what? Because I grew up with them, you know. I said, are you kidding me? It's like, no, I mean, they made films and they've released movies and stuff like that. And I said, no, this is a serious, man. You're interested? And I said, yeah, sure. I mean, what are we doing? He said, well, they're looking for a voice director and there's going to be casting. And it's kind of like when you get that phone call, you don't say no, do you? You go, yeah, I'll think about it. And then you call back in 2 minutes and you say, yeah, I'll be there. When is it? Tomorrow? Now, in an hour? And that's essentially how I got on board. And so they said, okay, well, how do we want to go about this? And I said, well, let's just cast, let's just cast. And so we got a whole bunch of actors in and a whole bunch of other actors who by then knew what was going on from Belgium and internationally, started calling in and just saying, hey, we want to be a part of this. So like this train got set in motion, and then everybody just jumped on with a lot of enthusiasm. And my job has never been easier. I mean, because everybody just rolls with it. It's just been a lot of fun. There's not, I haven't had a single actor I've had to like drag him in, like the cat drags something in from the rain, it's been easy. I mean, easy in the sense, it's a lot of work, but it's great fun. I mean, it's just so much, it's an institution, this whole thing. So it's easy to get people fired up and on board. So yeah. It's the one call you answer. Yeah.
And then you call back a few minutes later and say, I don't even know why I didn't just tell you no the first time.
Yeah, something in the back of your brain goes, I have to behave like that, and I was stupid. Yeah.
I don't know why I just said I'll get back to you because I know I'm going to say yes.
Yeah. They probably knew that already, actually. Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah. It's pretty neat because I figure obviously both of you have the history and know where Smurfs came from, right? And so kind of like a reboot of the continuation of, I grew up with it too. So the continuation of it is pretty neat just to see. And I know then you get the new viewers, the younger generation that haven't ever seen it before, now getting, this introduction to it is pretty cool probably for you guys to see as you continue to film more and more episodes. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah, I mean, to bounce into that, I mean, it's interesting because I have, I have a 7-year-old boy and a 5-year-old daughter. They knew of the Smurfs because they're everywhere. I mean, essentially, they're comics and they, it's a brand. But of course, then when the series come out, and they're my greatest sounding board, because when I prep all the Smurfs before I throw all the stuff to the actors, and I watch it with them, and I have them watch it with me so that I can see where they laugh and where they don't. And they're very excited about it. And the way that it's been scripted, of course, there are several layers, so young children can watch it and enjoy it. Adults can watch it with kind of like the nostalgia of it, but with new elements. There's like different layers, and which is great fun, because as actors, then you can work on those layers and make it kind of like palatable for a whole range of ages. So we can have like quirky humor in there, which the kids will find funny, but the adults will read differently. You know what I mean? Obviously, yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, I definitely saw that in some of the new episodes. I was able to screen some of them. So it was definitely, I didn't watch them with my kids, but the same thing is I totally got that humor side of it. And it's nice. It's nice nostalgia, just to go back in the history and to be like, oh my gosh, wow, this is what I grew up with, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it's great to hear that, yeah. That,
Yeah.
We kind of stayed true to the original series, but making it more modern, of course, for the kids of today, and that's what we try to do. And yeah, it's great to hear that we achieved that. Yeah,
I'm sure, and like you said, with your kids watching it and seeing where they interact and laugh and really get involved helps you guys to kind of frame that and allow the voice actors to take some freedom into those little zinger things, I guess, in there to make everybody laugh and enjoy it, right?
Yeah, essentially we try and create a party on every episode. I think it's the only way to go about it, because it's slapstick humor, and whether you're 7 or 77, you can laugh at stuff like that. And then we just add extra layers in there just to say, hey, where can we push this? We'll look at a scene and go, come on, let's throw some extra dialogue before and after, and let's see what happens, and then have these quirky, more modern reactions. Like, my kids watch a lot of different cartoons, and cartoons have evolved, and kids watch things differently, and they have a different reading on it, and the pace is so much faster than the 70s essentially as well. So all these elements kind of like it's great to have kids that age to use as a sounding board. Definitely, it helps.
Yeah, and I mean, my son's 8, like I said, hard to believe he's already 8, but I digress. He is into all these zinger phrases, and so some things that he laughs at in these shows, I'm like, how did you even get that, right? Like it's really funny, but I'm like, well, I mean, at 8, it's surprising what they can grasp onto. And my almost 2-year-old, she just laughs at everything, so it is what it is.
Cool. Look, I'm glad that I'm actually getting that feedback, because it's nice to hear that it works. Because we don't know, we just make stuff, and then it goes out, and we hope that people will get it or not. And so it's nice. Thank you for the feedback. That's cool. Awesome.
Yeah, he's something else. I'll tell you, he keeps it interesting. That's for sure. Yeah. So I just was curious as to, I guess, the overall message that you were hoping that viewers got out of the Smurfs, reboot, I guess, if you want to call it that, or these new episodes coming out in January.
Well, there's always a kind of a bit of a great lesson to learn from each episode, without it being too educational. But that's kind of the values we wanted to keep in there, and they're part of the brand. And it's not just a funny show. The characters really care for each other. It's about friendship. It's about teamwork. It's about respect for the environment. So we kept those values really in the show, but in a funny way. And that's the way to make kids learn something nowadays. Yeah, that's what we wanted to do.
Yeah, I'll share that point of view, and maybe just add the fact that also with the addition of new characters in there that been fleshed out, I think we've kind of brought it into the modern age as well, while retaining kind of the essence of the Smurfs. They are what they are, but of course you have to make them relevant to this kind of decade or for the decades to come. So we've had to add a few elements in there, a few characters, and change some of the characters ever so slightly, like the Smurfette, she's more empowered now. She's stronger. She's more modern in that sense. So all those elements kind of play into what we're trying to do and trying to add and trying to make it relevant for kids as well, and I think that's part of the value system as well, which is important because the world has changed in 40, 50 years, Has it been 40, 50 years? Yes, it has, it's half a century almost, so yeah, I mean, those have to be addressed. And I think the script writers have done quite a cool job at that. And the directors certainly worked in production, and we as actors have thrown in our own little things in there just to make it, more relevant for kids as well, and adults.
Absolutely love that. And like I said, I got to screen some of the episodes, and it's really neat just to see it all kind of come full circle again. So I look forward to everybody else seeing it when it releases as well. So I thank you both very much for your time. Hopefully you're able to take a break and get some coffee or something. Keep you
All right.
longer over there. But thank you.
Well, good luck for the coming weeks and month.
Thank you.
And best of luck with that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate that.